Hey everybody, it's Brian. Just before we start this episode, I just wanted to let you know that we had a few technical difficulties with the audio, so sometime around the 18-minute mark, you're going to hear distortion in the audio. I did my best to fix it up. I hope you all enjoy. Thank you for your continued support. And now, on to the show.
Is it time to go to bed yet? It feels way later than 10 o'clock.
Feels like it's like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, we don't normally record a show this late. We either do it on Thursday afternoon or Friday afternoon, but duty calls and work does as well. So welcome into another Baron Banter podcast episode.
Night episode.
13. Night episode.
I'm going to make the logo a little bit darker for this episode.
Does night episode actually mean anything to us?
No, not really.
Not really. We're going to talk about the same things we normally talk about. Well, not the same things we talk about, but... You know, we're going to do it the same way.
That would be redundant.
That would just be a stupid show, and you would stop watching, I hope, after the second one. And if maybe for some reason you got to the third one, you're a trooper, God bless. Tyler Zulli alongside Brandon Zulli for this week's episode of Baron Banter. Thanks for checking us out this week and every week. You can find us on YouTube at Easy Mode Earls, Twitter on Easy Mode Earls. Find me at Twitter at Teasel34 as well. I'm pretty sure, though, if you found us on YouTube, you don't need to find us on YouTube. So that's a stupid comment. But anyway, let's get rocking and rolling today. Like I said, myself, Tyler Zulli, and my brother, Brandon Zulli, really desperately missing Chris Matase. We haven't seen him in a while. It's been a long time since I've seen one of my best friends. That's a problem.
Our thoughts and prayers go to his family.
His fam? What? Chris isn't dead.
Wow. I just assumed.
He's just at school. Like, he has adult things to do. Not all of us get to sit around and do nothing all day long like you do, Brandon.
Well, that's your fault.
You don't have a job. You do nothing.
Yet.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever you could say. Sure. I'm on day 5 of 7 days in a row of work, so I don't want to hear it. The smallest little violin just played for me. Alright, let's get this show rocking and rolling. We've got, well, do we have a lot to talk about? We've got things to do.
We have to do
We have obligations to attend to. That's the best I can say. I will promise you all right now.
We have an hour to fill.
This is not going to be the best Baron Banter of all time. I don't even know how to speak anymore. Baron Blen.
We just chalk it down to having strokes.
These strokes aren't funny. I'm going to chalk it down to the fact that it's been a long day. I actually had to do a podcast for a site that I write for, discussing all Penn State and Philly sports. So I came down to Brandon and I said, Brandon, now that I'm done doing an hour's worth of podcast, let's do an hour's worth of podcast. So here we are, fulfilling our obligatory duties. Let's get started. Here's a headline that caught my attention right away. North Korea, and this for some reason is in quotes.
I saw this.
North Korea, air quotes, accidentally reveals plan for new missile. What? Before we get into this topic, why exactly is accidentally reveals in quotes? Did Kim Jong-un send this in? Oh man, I sent it to the wrong Donald Trump.
He hit reply all in the email.
North Korea appears to have revealed details of 2 as-yet untested missile systems in its press coverage of a factory inspection by the country's supreme leader, Kim Jong-un. Of course, you know what site this comes from.
Twitter?
BBC.
Yeah,
of course, the BBC. But what this says, it's not the first time that North Korea, air quotes, accidentally left details of important developments in the background of photo shoots. Now, here's the deal.
I was going to make a joke.
Here's the deal, real quick. You can make your joke in a second. I don't speak Korean, so I don't know what these symbols mean. But I personally know somebody that speaks Korean. So don't you think the national government has somebody that speaks Korean? I would bet.
You have to assume.
You would think so.
So I was actually going to make a joke before you said that about how someone would have taken a picture at a surprise party and sent it out before the surprise party happened.
Yeah, right. Get it on camera. That would be like me putting up a picture of like an article I was going to write. Here's my article and my interviews. You want to see a picture of my interviews? Here you go. Why don't you take them? Like, that's just, people are so
Look at my
dumb.
credit card. I love how blue it is.
I love how blue it is. Why don't you show me the CCV on the back while you're at it?
What's the 4 numbers on the back?
What are the 3 numerical digits that are going to get me dinner tonight?
How does this happen?
I don't know how this happens.
Well, I mean, they have a Raggedy Ann doll as a leader, but, I mean, that's besides the point. You have to assume someone... This had to be like a direct order by Kim Jong-un himself. He was like, I look really good in this photo.
Yeah, right?
Send it out.
Put it out on the internet.
It has our nuclear secret.
Well, Kim Jong-un...
Send it out.
I don't care. Look at my bright side. Kim Jong-un is the only person with internet access in the entire country of North Korea.
That's not true, actually.
There's a Twitter of one. You ever see, like, when you're playing Call of Duty and the map circles around and the map lights up and, like, the light up shows who's playing where, and, like, the heavier the lights. Like, so you see it on the East Coast of the United States, the West Coast of the United States, Japan, Europe. And then if you look, there is distinctly a separation. It's like China, South Korea, dark. Because nobody has access to the internet to play Call of Duty. They have Call of Duty North Korea Edition, which is just like a simulator where it's kind of like Doom. Or no, it's kind of like Wolfenstein from the 80s, but it's 2017 and you shoot Americans. That's North Korea's Wolfenstein. They call it Kim Jong-un.
Well, if we're going with...
Kim Jong-un, superhero extravagant. Kim Jong-un.
So if we're running with how crazy North Korea is, I showed you a video a while back. This was on Last Week Tonight of the propaganda that North Korea puts on, like, says about Americans.
Right.
In the Korean War, they say apparently we kidnapped a woman. I don't remember her name. We skinned her knees, salted it, and ate it, and stabbed her with tridents and drank her blood.
The United States military carries around tridents.
And we are consistent of vampires.
U.S. government. Where'd you get a trident from? I don't know.
But
Mattis killed a guy. Yeah, I stabbed him in the heart with a trident. Yeah, General Mattis, I've been wanting to talk to you about that for a while. You probably lay low. You're probably wanted for murder.
But another thing is, apparently, in North Korea, you know how they glorify their leader all the time? I think it was the previous leader to this one, who was the previous leader? I can't remember.
Kim Jong-il.
Kim Jong-il? They were saying that he once was at a target range, shot 3 bullets, all of them perfect bullseyes, at the age of 7.
Right, sure he did. Apparently, well, you do know that Kim Jong-un doesn't poop either, right?
What?
He's ascended past bodily functions. He doesn't poop, he doesn't fart, he doesn't burp, he doesn't throw up.
Is that a real
I
thing?
don't know. I made that up. We found the title of the episode. Kim Jong-un doesn't poop.
Everybody poops.
Roll credits.
Except Kim Jong-il.
Roll credits. Show's over.
We will never hit a higher note.
But here's the deal. Whether by mistake or as a ruse, says BBC, it's happened before. Okay, so it's happened before. You want to take a guess at when the last time it happened was?
Last month.
How about 2 weeks ago? Photos of Kim Jong-un planning a ballistic missile test in the direction of U.S. Anderson Air Force Base on Guam also contain strategically placed wall charts and an ominous aerial view of the base itself. Hello guys, my name is Kim Jong-un. You might think I'm a bad guy, but I'm really an American spy who's plotting against North Korea. This has been an elongated process that my father started. Here are pictures of our missile plants. Please come blow us up.
You know what? That'd make a great TV sitcom.
Like, Kim Jong-un, I swear to you, like when he goes to get his hair cut, his mom just puts a bowl, like a colander, on his head and shaves everything that doesn't make it into the colander.
Well, you know what? We've said some crazy shit, like you said, the thing about Kim Jong-il not pooping, but apparently there are, like, it's not far off what other people have said, because on actual news programs, and not just one or two, like a dozen or so, they ran the report that every man in North Korea had to get the exact same haircut as Kim Jong-un. And it's not true. There was no facts about this. But it sounds like it could be true.
It sounds like it could be true, and I bet you that the colander industry was like, "Yo, we're exporting to North Korea. Let's go. We're selling bowls, baby."
But honestly, yeah. But honestly, that's kind of a scary thing about North Korea, because
forget pasta. We want Korean hair.
And on one hand, they're like the goofballs of the world.
Are they though?
And we all try and joke about them, but on the other hand, they have nuclear capabilities.
Well, here's the thing. This is what the BBC says. While accidentally or purposely placed maps and charts give North Korea watchers clues to the messages that North Korea is trying to send, it's what Pyongyang doesn't show in its news reporting that can be just as revealing. The omission of MiG-29 fighter jets from covering this year's Air Force flight competition in June, an annual event given prominence due to Kim Jong-un's presence, could show that UN sanctions are biting hard, at least in some parts of the country's military. It's thought that parts and fuel in the country's most advanced jets are in short supply, and their disappearances from TV screens, which usually glory in the invincible quote-unquote strength of the armed forces, could mean that they are grounded, at least temporarily. Now, of course that Kim Jong-un has the ability to censor everything in the news.
Yeah.
You know? So, the fact that Kim Jong-un is not showing jets, even if he was faking them and having artists and a cartoon, you know what I mean? Something.
Cartoon artists do up his hair.
Showing old videos of jets flying goes to show you that that might be true. That, excuse me, got a little heartburn today. That the UN is cracking down on North Korea and they're starting to take a hit.
The thing is, I feel like Kim Jong-un has just taken a game of Civilization way too far.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you look at it, if he were to play Civilization, he would be the guy that would be like, he'd meet a new person. Hi, I'm Alexander the Great. Bomb!
I throw my catapult at you. You mean you throw the rocks? No, I throw the entire catapult.
I don't understand this man. He is a whack job.
But once again, he has the most destructive weapon of all time, and we're making jokes about.
Well, I don't think he's got the capability. That's the thing. I don't think that country has the capability yet, which is why we make the jokes.
But we don't think he has the capability, but he could very well have the capability.
Oh, he absolutely could.
And your concern about the situation, again, I'm going back to John Oliver. He said it pretty well. If the blast of the nuke that he sent was able to get here but stopped at Street Road, we wouldn't give a shit.
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it's going to land. It's going to affect the United States. I don't think it has the ability to get to the United States. That's the thing.
Could it hit Guam?
It sure could. I mean, let me take a look at the distance.
Are you looking up? He pulled up a page of nothing but colanders.
I had a higher meaning to this. I swear it meant more than that. But I got sidetracked and all that got into my Google image was column.
Oh my god. I just look over at your computer.
Ceramic or plastic?
Would you like handle?
Two handle, one handle, no handle. Pyongyang to Guam. Let's define the distance. North Korea. It must be a highly searched thing because it's the number one. It's 2,128 miles. I don't think that he has the capability of sending that to Guam. Now let's look at the distance between. All right,
but is it possible he could get the capability in a year or so time?
It's possible, but like I said, if they continue with these sanctions like they are, I don't know that it's going to happen. And here you go. You talk about it. Can they get it to Guam? Maybe. It's 2,000 something miles away. The distance between Pyongyang and California is 5,754 miles away. I don't think he's got that capability. If he can't get it to Guam, he's going to need to go 2.5 more times to get it to California. It's just not possible. I don't think he's got the ability to do it.
So, I'm trying to think of if these work, if like what the U.S. and the UN are doing, and start having tighter, stricter what they have sanctions. Would this be able to start a sort of? Would this start another war, maybe like another Korean War? Because if they need the materials, do you think they'd try and go into South Korea or maybe even bold enough to go into China?
No, because here's the reason that they're not going into war on their own front without nuclear power. If they go into China and Russia will obliterate them. If they go into South Korea, the United States and Russia will obliterate them. So no, they're not going to go to war on their own merit. That would just be a death sentence. They would get wiped off the face of the earth. So when Donald Trump said in fire or whatever it was, he's not kidding. That's not a joke. If any other president would have said that, they'd have been like, yeah, man, let's do it. You really think that Harry Truman, the only reason that Harry Truman was thought about as, oh yeah, he dropped the bomb, great idea, was because there was an immediate danger of saving American soldiers' lives. And Harry Truman more eloquently explained why he was dropping the bomb. And in fact, I'd like to get a quote on him.
I'd like to get the production materials of colanders.
What makes a colander a colander? So
why is it the new hat in North Korea?
I'm trying to get a
so
sentence,
with what you said that they'd be destroyed either way they're going. Are they just in a lose-lose situation now?
They're gonna sit exactly where they are because they can't do anything about it. I'm still looking for.
Now,
here is what Harry Truman said after the bomb was issued. Having found the bomb, we have used it. We have used it against those who attacked us without warning at Pearl Harbor, against those who have starved and beaten and executed American prisoners of war, against those who have abandoned all pretense of obeying international laws of welfare. We have used it in order to shorten the agony of warfare. We have used war in order to save the lives of thousands and thousands of young Americans. If Donald Trump didn't say, we're going to bring down some hellfire and brimstone, you know what I mean? Like, if he didn't say it like that, people would have been, and if Trump didn't say it, had Obama said that, or the next president had said that, I think you'd be looking at a different reason, a different thing. You are going to give retaliatory measures. Is that a word, retaliatory?
I think so.
Yeah, retaliatory measures against a country that is trying to wipe you off the face of the planet by wiping them off the face of the planet. You're going to go up against a destructive evil force with enough measure to combat that evil force. Will there be casualties? Yes. That's why an atomic bomb hasn't been set off. Well, and that's why a nuclear bomb hasn't been set off.
I would like to
since Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Do you think the reason we don't send like an atomic or nuclear bomb is because South Korea and
It's too
China are
close.
so close.
Yeah, that probably helps as well. There are going to be casualties. Let me I want to see
Because say we hit North Korea with a nuke, it would. How much of South Korea would get, like, if we hit them with several nukes at least, how much of South Korea would be destroyed as well? And they're our closest allies.
Effects of a 100 kiloton nuclear bomb, 3-kilometer radius. Radioactive fireball hotter than the sun with a force of 100,000 tons of TNT kills everyone. 5-kilometer radius. Oh, this is a long extended one. I just want the end extension. Blast heat and radiation. Let's see. 80 kilometers radioactive fallout spreads. So 80 kilometers for a 100 kiloton nuclear bomb.
And got the size of North Korea right here.
80 kilometers is about 50 miles. How far is Pyongyang from the South Korean border?
So much research.
There really is.
So much time.
We probably should have done this.
Flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah, that's what we like to do. But so yes, if that math holds up, and that math may not even be right, that seems a little low to me to be 50 mile. Well, it's 50 miles in every direction too.
Yeah.
It's not just 50
It's not just
straight
one
miles.
way.
Right. It's a 50-mile radius for a reason. So yeah, I think that they probably would have concerns about attacking North Korea with a nuclear bomb because of the fact that South Korea is so close. Let me look up the map of North. So see, here's the thing. If you take a look at the map of North Korea, Pyongyang is there. The capital of Pyongyang to Seoul is, I bet you, it's no more than a couple hundred miles.
So I asked that Korea would start attacking if, they lost, all trade routes
Pyongyang
or
to Seoul
anything.
is 121 miles apart.
Do you think this, now would be a good time for allies to attack North Korea? Not with nukes or atomic bombs, but, coordinated attacks, with soldiers, boots.
I don't think they want to lose the casualties. Again, it comes down to casualty numbers. It's really a multifaceted question. And you're asking the right questions, Brandon. You really are. And
I can get deep.
if I had the answer to any of those questions,
You
I'd
wouldn't be
probably
here.
be in General Mattis's position. So I don't really have, and I know it's a cop-out, I don't really have answers to those questions. It's just something I'm not able to come up with. In my best educated guess and my fairly extensive history of warfare throughout the current times, or throughout history leading up to the current times, the United States and their allies operate on a different standard than what extremist groups do, than what groups such as the Taliban and ISIS and all that do. Now, North Korea is a country. It's not an extremist group. That's the difference between what they're fighting now in ISIS and the Taliban and Islamic extreme groups is they're not governed. Their ruling is not governed by the state and country government. They can fight warfare at a different tactic because they don't have to follow the rules of law or the rules of war. I don't know if North Korea has to follow the rules of war, or even if they will. But if they don't, they're going to get sanctioned even further, and their people are going to start dying. Does Kim Jong-un care? I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not.
He'd probably eat them.
He probably doesn't care, but you would have to think that the rules of war would apply for North Korea as well.
There is all the food, all the resources in North Korea. Kim Jong-un is fine. He just doesn't want to come out today.
Well, here you go. About a week and a half ago, South Korean President Moon Jae-in rules out war with North Korea. So South Korea is not going to war. 4 days ago, the British promised to send a nuclear sub to help Trump if Kim Jong-un were to attack. So
Well, that's nice of them.
you've already got British and American forces, which if you take a look at Navy, I believe obviously the United States has the biggest navy, but I believe that the British might be number 2, and I will double check that. 5 most powerful navies on the planet. Of course, number 1 is the United States. Number 2 is actually China now, but you'd have to think that Great Britain's in the top 5. It's just one of those countries that you would
Next is Australia.
It's just one of those countries you would assume. Russia is 3. Let's go to page 3 and see. This didn't help me whatsoever. This is more clickbait than it is anything else. There you go. United Kingdom's 4.
All right.
The Royal British Navy is... I mean, of course, they're not the powerhouse that they were in the 16 and 1700s, but they are still a strong navy that will get the job done. So that gives you the 1st and 4th best navies in the country in the world.
And if we get attacked, would our allies come to defend us?
Yeah, for sure. That's what the UN is made for.
So who we got in that? We got...
There are 196 countries in the UN. Not all of them will come to help because there's going to be countries that are neutral, like Switzerland.
Just take the biggest ones. You got
us, England, France,
England,
Germany, Australia, New Zealand, Russia will help in this case, I think. Canada, Brazil. North Korea's got no shot if they decide to go to war with anybody, let alone the United States. The United States wouldn't need help to go take out North Korea.
And honestly, North Korea kind of lost their biggest supporter because not super recently, but wasn't China kind of backing them, saying like you go after North Korea, we'll come after you. Now China's like, all right, no, I'm done with your shit. It's like a little snot-nosed punk hanging around his big brother, pissing everybody off, and then the big brother just lets everyone wail on him.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's the thing. Eventually, it's going to boil down to, do they want to get into a war? And I don't think the United States doesn't want to get into a war. There's no doubt about it.
Trump does, but the United States does.
Trump's not going to get that power. I don't think it's ever going to happen. Because while your 2 buffoon-headed nincompoop leaders are whack jobs, there are hundreds of level-headed individuals in political power. They're not at the power level of Trump and Kim Jong-un. They are at political power. And the cooler heads
There's
will prevail.
political power other than Kim Jong-un in that country?
Not power, but representatives. And cooler heads will prevail.
We hope
especially on the United States side.
Let's hope so, Tyler.
Let's send this thing to commercial break. That was a significantly better segment than I expected it to be.
Talked surprisingly more about colanders than I thought we would.
Yeah, well, colanders is the theme of today's show. Today's show is brought to you by colanders and the number 4. Thank you for joining into this episode of Sesame Street for Adults. We'll come back with real topics on the other side. This is Baron Banter. Thanks for coming back and hanging out with us here on this Baron Banter episode 13. We talked about North Korea and their colander hats. Now let's get into some more political talk. Tyler Zulli, alongside my brother Brandon Zulli, for this 13th edition of Baron Banter. You can check us out each and every Friday. We'll be uploaded to our Baron Banter playlist and our Easy Mode Earls YouTube page. We should really make an Easy Mode Earls Facebook. I know you don't like to use Facebook.
You can handle that.
I'll create an Easy Mode Earls Facebook and start getting it out.
I'll handle the Twitter.
It probably should be the other way around. I'm much more versed at Twitter than I am at Facebook.
And I despise
Facebook. Yeah,
Facebook.
that's true. I'll work Facebook. You should probably just let me be the social media director.
You should do that.
I'll be the social media director from now on. You continue to post videos. I'll put up stuff.
Go
But
ahead.
anyway, let's get back into our conversation for today. We're off North Korea, but we are on another hotbed topic. I don't know if you've heard this one yet. This is sports-based, but not sports-related.
That sounds weird.
So let me explain it this way. The idea starts with a sports topic, but it's not a sports conversation, and you'll understand in a second. ESPN has made the decision to change their Week 1 play-by-play segments around. Play-by-play, how do I want to say this? Roster, I guess. Their play-by-play roster of their commentators and whatnot. So a gentleman who's making his way into the industry was scheduled to call the game at the University of Virginia, which is very, very, very close to Charlottesville, where everything has happened over the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
This man was set to call the University of Virginia football game. He is now calling Pittsburgh and Youngstown State because ESPN has made the change due to the fact that they were afraid that political and racial tensions would rise because of this play-by-play commentator. Now, let me explain to you why this play-by-play commentator is being changed to another game way, way up north.
Okay.
This commentator's name is Robert Lee.
Okay.
And ESPN did not want people associating him with the Confederate General Robert E. Lee.
Really?
That is a true story.
That's.
Let me get your take on that.
So, apparently ESPN has been taken over by 50 monkeys at 49 typewriters.
Well, you have to remember, ESPN is now owned by Disney.
Of course they are. Disney owns the world. But, how... So, just because a guy is named Robert Lee...
Yep.
They're gonna...
They've changed his assignment. That's the word I was looking for earlier, by the way. Assignment.
I don't know.
It's been a long day. But yeah, so they changed his assignment from the Virginia football game because of the fact that he
shares a name with the Confederate General. Now, I would hope to believe that this would cause no trouble. It would just be a normal game, and nothing would happen. However, in all honesty, I can't say that I wouldn't see someone trying to pull something.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think that someone would try to do something? And here, I'm going to try to find what they said. So I'm going to paraphrase here because I don't have the time to look up. Oh, here you go. I found it. ESPN issued this statement. We collectively made the decision with Robert to switch games as the tragic events in Charlottesville were unfolding, simply because of the coincidence with his name. In that moment, it felt right to all parties. It's a shame that this is even a topic of conversation, and we regret that who calls play-by-play for a football game has become an issue. Let me ask you this question.
Hasn't.
Let me ask you this question. I know you're not a sports guy, but personally, if this was not brought up and leaked out, I don't think anybody would have noticed.
I was going to say the exact same thing. No one would have cared.
ESPN made this a big deal. I don't think that it wasn't made a big deal. I think ESPN kind of made it a big deal.
It's kind of like saying something really weird at a party. It's just like,
how'd that feel?
It's the obligatory knee hit.
Yeah, you've got to do it at least once a game.
Every single session. But it's kind of like going up to a party, going up to a conversation and be like, I
had lunch today.
I am about to poop myself. It's like no one needs to know this, and nobody would have cared
unless you made like an overtly open.
I just pissed myself. No one really would have
Noticed.
noticed.
It's a dark room. You could have just walked away.
You have black pants on.
You could have just walked away.
But
you made it a big scene.
You brought this up to us.
You made this a big scene. So you think that ESPN made this a bigger deal than what they needed to?
Absolutely. This is their fault.
Let me ask you this. The beginning statement is we collectively made the decision with Robert.
He had
Do you think Robert Lee had any say in this whatsoever?
He got the memo the day before he was about to head out.
Well, the game's not for a couple of weeks. So he has time to adjust.
You know what I mean? He got a text at midnight. Just be like, all right, yeah, you're doing this game.
You're not calling a game. Yeah, you're calling a different game.
And if you question it, you lose your job.
Well, and that's the thing. Here's the thing. Robert Lee's not returning anybody's calls for comment. Of course he's not. Because if he says the wrong thing, now not only is he Robert Lee, the ridiculous pseudonym connection to the Confederate war general, but Robert Lee is now the bad guy in ESPN's eyes. He's a part-time play-by-play guy for ESPN. We're a dime a dozen. And I say we because I'm a play-by-play guy as well. We are a dime a dozen, and ESPN will kick him in a heartbeat. And that would be the end of Robert Lee's career.
Robert Lee would now be no one.
So let me read you a couple of tweets because ESPN drew some backlash after this. This one, I'm not going to read anybody's Twitter name. I'm not going to throw anybody in our podcast.
Donald Trump.
If this society can't tell the difference from Robert E. Lee from 150 years ago and a sportscaster, Robert Lee, we are in trouble. A page called General Lee. If an athlete's name is Robert Lee, are you going to not show their game? People responded by saying, well, what happens now? Do we have to change mascots of teams that are made after Confederate things, like the University of Mississippi Runnin' Rebels? They also said, what happens about the cups at the game? Do we have to change them from Dixie cups? Can we not have Dixie cups? You know what I mean? They received a whole lot of backlash. But I think they brought this on themselves. I really do.
No one, like we said, no one would have noticed this at all. And I think it's the fact that they thought they had to bring this to light.
Right.
Like, they thought that this was just so out there that it was obvious to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
When you said the name Robert Lee, nothing came to my mind. Absolutely nothing.
I want to save my last point for the very end because it's kind of the dagger of this whole topic because you don't know who any of these guys are.
Dagger, it's already a corpse. You don't need to do anything.
What? Oh yeah, I agree with you. It's completely unnecessary. I want to find the rationale behind this, and I'm gonna see if they went into more detail.
I think the rationale is we have a snowflake nation, and ESPN doesn't want to get roasted on Twitter or Facebook by millennials who think they're fighting the good fight, and they just decided, all right, we're going to call it out, call this nothing incident out, and make sure no one says we were racist.
So here's a further comment from John Skipper, the ESPN president. There was never any concern by anyone at any level that Robert Lee's name would offend anyone watching the Charlottesville game. First on, you're just becoming hypocritical at that point.
You just
went right back against what you said.
Oh.
But let's continue. Among our Charlotte production staff, there was a question as to whether, in these divisive times, Robert's assignment might create a distraction.
No.
Or even worse, expose him to social hectoring or trolling. They said that they didn't want memes to be created about Robert Lee.
Memes. First of all, it wouldn't have happened. Second of all, if it did happen, probably the greatest thing to happen to his career. Because his name would be everywhere.
Well, so here's the deal with Robert Lee. In terms of the spectrum of play-by-play broadcasters, he's making his way up in the world. He's a good play-by-play guy. But he's not your top-tier, everybody knows him play-by-play guy.
Yeah.
If you put Robert Lee in a crowd of, for me, 10 people, and for most non-broadcasters, 2 people, you might not be able to pick out Robert Lee. That's how, he's just not a well-known guy.
But, so, how can you go out and say, we need to stop this controversy before it happens? We got to snuff this out, make sure no one gets hurt, and then go, oh no, we didn't think anyone was going to notice, we just wanted to point it out so you all would notice.
And the thing is, the real issue here, I think, is the fact that this was a decision that was made by ESPN that was not going to be publicized. Because nobody would have known, because nobody knew what the schedule was for the ESPN football games. somebody within ESPN is rumored to have leaked this information. And that's why people are making comments on it. That's the reasoning as to why this has become such a big deal. Now, I'm going to end this segment. We're coming up on about 12 minutes. I'm going to end this segment here by showing you a picture. And I want your reaction. Should I put this picture up? You can, but I think a lot of people have seen the man already. I know you haven't, because this is the first time you're hearing the story, apparently.
Okay. I'll put the picture there.
I want you to look at this picture, and I want you to tell me what is wrong with this picture. Okay? I'm going to show you Robert Lee.
Okay.
And I want your opinions. The first time you're ever looking at Robert Lee.
Okay.
You ready for this picture?
Let's see this.
Robert Lee is an Asian American.
Yes.
How exactly does Robert Lee come up in Confederate talks? I want your opinion.
Because he's one letter away from being a general in Confederacy.
I guess.
That's their whole argument, isn't it?
For the most part.
Oh, Robert Lee sounds like Robert E. Lee. Okay. The dude's got nothing to do with that.
Nothing to do with it whatsoever.
So, you want to know what? Like I said, I think they just brought it up because they were afraid.
Because they could.
Because they could. And they were afraid they were going to get backlash on the internet. Or from their sponsors.
Well, ESPN, like I said, ESPN didn't intentionally bring this out. This wasn't an ESPN, attention-grabbing, money-grabbing thing. This was outed from somebody within ESPN.
Maybe it's a conspiracy.
It could be. Very well could be. Somebody looking for some attention. What's your final thoughts on this? Ridiculous? Give me a word other than ridiculous to describe this.
Word that I can use on the podcast?
Yep. Give me an FCC-regulated word.
Redundant.
All right. There you go. You've got redundant. I think it's unnecessary. Completely unnecessary.
Absolutely.
Let's head to our last commercial break. On the other side, we'll have some fun, wrap things up, do a little bit of everything, a hodgepodge of a final segment. You're listening to Baron Banter right here on YouTube and Twitter. Welcome back to Baron Banter here. Thanks so much for joining us. We got a little bit of a night podcast here. We're closing in at 11 o'clock p.m. Thursday night. Of course, these will always be uploaded onto YouTube and Twitter on Fridays. So while you're listening to us, it may be Friday night. It may even be Saturday mornings, into the weekend. But right now, it's Thursday evening here in Bensalem, closing in on the 11 o'clock hour. Tyler Zulli alongside Brandon Zulli. It has been a tremendously, tremendously long day.
For you, at least.
I didn't start work early today. I had a 1 o'clock shift. I only had a 5-hour shift today, 1 to 6. But my job is 25 miles away, up and down 95, up and down 676, up and down 76. So I've got 50 miles of driving through rush hour traffic. I was in the car for probably an hour and a half to almost 2 hours total today, along with my 6-hour or 5-hour shift.
A 5-hour energy.
Along with my hour podcast that I do for the site that I did for the site that I write, along with the 2 hours of research for the site that I write for. And then we got to do Baron Banter, and I still have to find a way to get to the gym. It's been a long day for me today.
You just shouldn't sleep tonight.
No, believe me, I've got an 8-hour day tomorrow, and I've got to be up at 4:15 on Saturday for work. But anyway, let's get to this final segment, or what's close to the final segment, I should say. This isn't really a rant, but I guess maybe you could qualify it as a rant. It's close to. It's probably the closest thing we're going to get to a rant today. And I know your opinion on this, but I want people to tell you to tell people your opinion on this.
Oh boy.
I know that you're adamantly on the same side as me, but we can discuss. I have certain friends, one of which is our part-time host of this show,
yes,
Chris Matthews, who are very adamant about the fall and winter seasons. They love the fall and they love the winter. Football, colder weather, bonfires, the holidays that are there. But I have had a very difficult time over the last few weeks looking at some of these people on social media saying only 50 more sleeps until Halloween. 100 more sleeps until Christmas. It's like, guys, here's my thing. I'm a summer guy. I love the summer. I love playing baseball. I love the warm weather, the late sunny nights, getting to wear shorts and a t-shirt, going in the pool, going to the beach, going on vacation. Having generally less worries. You feel like you have less worries. Because I guarantee you I have SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder. I guarantee you I have that because I get very moody and very cranky in the winter, as opposed to in the summer when I'm much more upbeat and happy. I'm tired of seeing, can't wait for bonfire weather, can't wait for outside fires weather, can't wait for football season, can't wait for hoodie weather, can't wait for Christmas. I know that you hate it when stores put things up too early. How do you feel about people saying, oh man, only 26 more weeks until Valentine's Day? You know what I mean? Like,
I can't say. First of all, I would like to say, you said I would agree with you on this.
Yeah.
If I thought you were going to talk about
liking
summer. I was going to say you're dead
fucking
wrong.
I know.
But if you're talking about holidaying too early, I agree.
Well, just in general, pushing things too early.
Well, I've only ever really seen it with.
Can't wait for Halloween.
I've only ever seen it with holidays because I don't, look for that kind of thing. But I can understand finding something like that where it says, "Can't wait to roast marshmallows. Can't wait to wear a hoodie."
Slow your roll. Your pumpkin spice infused white girl fracket wearing yoga pants with a flannel time is coming. And that's just for the guys. The girls are worse. It's coming, and it's coming quickly. Please, just let me have the rest of my summer. Because here's the deal. When it's the dead of winter, and it snows 1.5 feet, like it sometimes does here in Pennsylvania.
Because we get all 4 seasons.
I do not want you on social media saying, I'm sick of snow, my back hurts from shoveling, God, I wish I lived in Florida. Because if you do, I'm going to personally find a way to take your Facebook off the line. I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out.
I can help you with that.
Because I don't want to see, can't wait for fall, can't wait for hoodie weather, can't wait for snow, and then when the first real snow hits, you say, I hate the snow, I hate shoveling, wish it was warmer.
See, I agree with you on those kind of posts, and just it's generally, I find it's people that just aren't happy with anything ever.
Don't take my summer away.
Well, take the summer away. I prefer the winter and the fall. But
I don't understand that logic. Why do you want to be cold? Why do you want to sit inside all day and do nothing?
Few reasons. One, I prefer the cold to the warm because I can always put on more layers. There's a certain amount of layers I can take off.
Legally, but not in your own right.
Before it becomes illegal. Second off,
nobody's stopping you from sitting in this basement naked.
I would think you and our mother would be stopped.
I'd be highly upset, but I'm not gonna. I can't physically stop you because here's the deal: when you're naked, I don't want to be within striking distance of you.
It's a good defense mechanism.
You know what I'm saying? I would be mortified if some whacked out drug dealer came running at me naked trying to fight me. I would run away.
Second reason, I prefer snowfall to rain because it rains every other night now.
You can do things in the rain. The rain washes down the sewers. The snow sits on your lawn and on your driveway and makes people break their ankles, and then it gets gray from all the fumes of your cars, and then dogs try to eat the gray snow and die. There is nothing beautiful about snow after the first day.
There's nothing beautiful about rain ever.
Rain is a necessity. Snow is not.
Third reason.
You think the farmer goes out there and is like, oh boy, giddy, we got 2 feet of snow. I'm hoping my corn's growing underneath it. No! You know what they're saying? God damn it, I wish it would rain.
Third reason. Because guess what you don't have to do in the fall and in the winter?
What don't you have to do in the fall and the winter?
Yard work.
Show me yard work. Ding! Number 2 answer.
Yard work is horrible, and it's the one thing when it changes from winter to spring that I go, fuck, I gotta start cutting the grass.
Downside of winter is so much less than the upside of winter. Getting sick is not fun. Driving to work in 2 feet of snow is not fun.
You can get sick any time of the year.
Nobody gets sick in the summer.
People get sick in the summer.
You don't get just a regular cold in the summer, though. And let me explain something to you. As a broadcaster, because let me put it this way. I don't think you think this way. You're a broadcaster now. You're an amateur broadcaster, but you are a podcast host. Makes you an amateur broadcaster.
Something else to put down on my resume.
You gotta do the show when you sound like this because you're so congested that you can't breathe?
No, it's not fun. Believe me, I've gone on air like that. You bring in a box of tissues and you dump the cough button every 10 seconds. It's awful.
The cough button?
Yeah, there's a cough button in most major stations.
What does it do?
Oh, I don't know. The cough button. What do you think it does? It drops a bomb on North Korea. It shuts your mic off for when you cough.
That's awesome. But I'd rather do the show while sick than do the show while sweating my ass off.
Brandon, we do the show in a basement with the air conditioner running.
Sweating my ass off and the power out from a lightning bolt hitting the generator.
If the lightning bolt hit the generator, we're not doing the show anyway. There's no power source. Where exactly would we do the show? What, are we going to gather around the campfire and sing our campfire songs?
Yes.
No!
Absolutely. Our CAMPFIRESONG songs.
Right. So, let me ask you something.
Fourth reason.
Is that laptop's microphone good enough to pick up our sound? Because that's the only way we'd be able to do it.
Yes.
I doubt it.
Fourth reason.
You're 1 for 3 right now.
No. If on your side, on my side, I'm 3 for 3.
I've struck you down with a good argument and a counterpoint. Move your hand. Stop putting it in front of me.
Fourth point. Winter. It's just more pleasant. Like this way you feel about summer. Like you said you hated winter.
How is winter pleasant?
You said you'd have...
What's enjoyable about sitting in 20-degree weather?
You said you felt like you had less worries in summer?
Yeah.
Same way I feel about winter.
Yeah, you gonna feel that way when you gotta walk to your job at 5 a.m. coming up soon in December?
I did do that.
I doubt it.
I did that.
Not at 5 a.m. you didn't.
Not at 5 a.m. I did do it through the snow.
I know.
Through the rain.
5 a.m.'s worse.
Fifth reason. I sit inside and do nothing all day anyway.
Yeah, well, you're a different breed. I don't think you're human.
Probably not. I'm some kind of lizard man.
You're inhuman. Like, you're half human. You're like a beta that went wrong.
I'm the update that was shittier.
You're like God was making you, and halfway through he got a phone call and stepped aside and forgot that he wasn't done making you yet and was like, alright, ship it off.
He left the iron on my face too long. Let's just say there are a lot of flaws with me. But, like I said, it's generally, I don't know how we got so off topic that we're arguing about summer versus winter. We started this about people trying to holiday too
We were
early.
in agreement, and then it just stopped. We'll get back to it in a second. Finish your thought.
But like I said, it's just personal taste. Some people like winter. Some people like summer.
Yeah, you're right. It's personal taste.
Some people aren't
like,
happy with anything.
It's personal taste. Some people like summer. Some people are idiots. That's just how it goes.
Some people like to relax with a hot cup of cocoa with marshmallows in their house. And some people like to sweat their dick off doing yard work at a fucking golf course at 6 o'clock in the goddamn morning.
It was never hot at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, it was.
I don't think it was.
You were there for 2 weeks, Tyler.
Yeah, but I was up at 6 o'clock working. I worked night shift. So it's not like I didn't do anything. But let's get back to the topic at hand. We've only got a couple minutes left. Why do people holiday jump? What is the point? We talked about this.
That slam right there. Thank you for that.
Yeah, hope they enjoy it. We talked about this a little bit with Chris the other day, not the other day, but a few weeks ago. And I said, people need to stop jumping over the best damn holiday in the world.
Yours is Thanksgiving.
Because Thanksgiving is the best holiday ever made. When else am I going to get to be a lazy schlub and eat all the food I want?
You could have my life.
I don't want to have your life.
Well, I will say this.
The point of the rant was to stop putting things on Facebook that say, I can't wait for Christmas. It's August.
I will say this. In some forms, I can kind of understand why people Christmas too early. Other holidays, I don't understand it at one point.
Why Christmas, though?
I think Christmas...
Why is Christmas the end-all, be-all holiday?
Because at one point or another, it may not be like it now, but at one point, Christmas was the giving holiday. It was the time when everyone was your family and you gave and you tried your best to be the best person you could
Why
be.
does it require December 25th for us to try our best, though? Why are we not supposed to be like that all year round?
I don't know.
Why does a fat guy coming down your chimney change that all of a sudden?
It's a curiosity of human nature. But in Christmas...
Oh boy, calendar turn, December 1st. Time for me to give my paycheck to the poor people.
Christmas...
The same guy I spat on in August. Like what?
The way I like to look at Christmas, at least if I see people Christmas in too early and I don't lose my mind, is that Christmas is the only holiday that has ever stopped a war.
Okay, so
it's that
but it
magical.
Goes deeper than that. It's not like Christmas started. They were like, "Yo, guys, by the way, here's Christmas. We're gonna call it that, and we're gonna construe the meaning over the next 70 years."
I understand that, but it's still a powerful symbol when people from two sides who are about to kill each other go out and meet each other as brothers. I can understand why people want a Christmas too early, because it's one of the best holidays. At least in my opinion.
Just do me a favor. Let August be August. Let September be September.
At least wait till December 1st.
Let August be August. Let September be September. Let October be October. Let November through February be June.
That would be the worst thing of all time.
Fantastic. I'm moving down to Florida. Never coming back.
You do that.
I will.
Enjoy tarantula rain.
Tarantula rain?
I don't think it's in Florida, but there is actually... You know the Sharknado plot? Actually can happen with certain mammals and spiders.
Sharknado can't happen.
Not Sharknado, but Spidernado has happened.
I don't think it has.
It has.
I think you're making that up.
Absolutely. I will look it up.
When we go off air, I'm checking you.
You can.
And
It was in Brazil.
Alright, when we go off air, I'm checking you. Make a bet.
Alright.
$1.
Okay.
Alright, $1.
Okay.
We'll tell you how it goes next week. You got any other final topics on this?
Can't wait for winter.
Let's wrap this bad boy up. Like I said, there's two trains of thought. You're either a summer person or you're wrong.
You're either a summer person, a winter person, or someone who's not happy with anything. In which case, just lock yourself in a closet, have someone bring you food every night, and try and not procreate.
That's a terrifying thought to think about. That's a great way to end the show, or a terrifying way to end the show, depending on how you look at it. For my co-host Brandon Zoli, I am Tyler Zoli, saying thank you so much for tuning in to this and every episode of Baron Banter. If it's your first time tuning in, thank you so much for your new support. If it's your 4th or 5th or 10th or 13th time tuning in, thank you for your continued support. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment, a like, and a subscribe down on our YouTube page. If you've got any topics you'd ever like us to talk about, please give us a comment on YouTube, or shoot us a tweet at EasyModeEarls, all one word, or shoot me a tweet at Teasel34. That's TZULL34. You can find us all over. I'm on Twitter constantly, all day long. So please hit us up and let us know what you'd like us to talk about. Tell us if you like the show. Tell us if we're dirtbags. It doesn't really matter. Just give us some interaction. We really need some other people to talk to other than myself and Brandon.
Please talk to us.
We need help. As always, saying one final time, thanks for tuning in to Baron Banter. For my co-host Brandon Zoli, I am Tyler Zoli, saying have a great weekend, and don't let the winter get here too early.